Hello everyone, this is Rajesh Singh from Eigen Technologies Private Limited. In this video we are going to discuss about SENSEnuts. Now most of you might already be familiar with SENSEnuts, but those who aren't, I'll start with a very quick introduction of the same. SENSEnuts is a platform which allows you to conduct some research, develop and implement wireless sensor networks. Now since SENSEnuts allows you to conduct very complex research, it allows you to implement some complex algorithms and create some complex networks in a very efficient and an easy way. We thought of coming up with a video series wherein we'll start up from the very basics of SENSEnuts platform, and then we'll dive into the technology, we'll dive deeper into the technology and understand how you can implement some typical algorithms, come up with some really typical networks. So in this video, this is the video 1 of the series, we are going to discuss about what all are the modules available in SENSEnuts platform and how we can interconnect those modules with one another in order to come up with some, let's say, good result. So let's get started. So these are some of the devices available in SENSEnuts platform, and now we'll discuss them one by one. So as we discussed that SENSEnuts is a modular platform, so let's see how it is modular. Now if I pick up this device in my hand, we can see that it's stacked on another device, and at the bottom we have this black box which is nothing but a battery holder. Now how it is modular? Because we have one module which is mounted on top of another module. So we have each module which is having its own separate functionality. Now if I talk about this module here, this is the radio module, we call it as radio module. Now if we happen to see, these two devices are same, so actually this is the radio module, this small chip. Now we have on off button here, a slide switch, so if we slide it towards this side it's off, and now if I will be sliding it towards this little device here, it is now on. So I'll just turn it off. Okay, now as you can see here we have this connector which is empty in this case. In this case we have a wire which is coming out of the battery holder and entering into this device. Now this wire, since it's very thin, to keep the entire design really small, we have used small connectors. This wire is really fragile, so we should not actually try to pull it off with some force. Okay, it is capable of handling some sort of strength, I should say, but we shouldn't deliberately pull it off. In case you want to take this connector out of this little device here, and if you want a device like this one, I mean, even if you want it, what we can do is we can use our nails, and from the connector itself, not from the wire, we can pull it from the connector and it will come out. And it is mounted on top of this black box, this battery holder. With the help of these screws we can open them like this, and this will come out. So this is the radio module, just like this one, and this is the battery module. We have some wire coming out of the hole here, and which is going to be connected to this radio device here. Yeah, so we have this radio module. Now we see that it was being connected with this little device. Now we call it as a gateway module. Now what this gateway module allows is, I mean, you can see some part number SNGW. If it's written SNGW on this, then it's a gateway module, SENSEnuts gateway. And if you have SNRD here, it's SENSEnuts radio. So yeah, so what we have is we have this gateway module. Now this gateway module actually allows you to program these radio devices, and whenever, let's say, data is coming from the network and you want to display it on your computer, so this gateway module gets connected to the computer or the laptop with the help of a USB cable. We can see we have a cable here, and you can see we have a mini USB connector and we have a mini USB cable here. We plug this mini USB cable into this device like this, and the other end of the cable, it is plugged into the laptop or to the computer, and what all data is coming from the network can be displayed on the GUI, the graphical user interface, which comes along with the SENSEnuts platform. We'll have a look at it shortly. So, and this can be connected on top of this radio device. I'll just use the another one because I'll have to mount it with the help of screws. Okay, so this is the device, and if I just connect it on top of it, it gets connected. Now what all data is coming to this radio module, it will be displayed onto the GUI. Now how data comes on the radio module, how do we receive data? Like let's say we have two radio devices, one is this one and another one is this one. Now this is gathering some data from the sensors and it is transmitting wirelessly. Now here we have the antenna. This portion is the antenna of this device. Now so it is having some wireless capabilities, and this is the microcontroller that we have here and the transceiver as well. So the data which is being transmitted from this device will be received by this device, let us assume that, wirelessly. Now this device is connected with this gateway module here like this. So what all data is received by this, we can program this radio module in such a way that whenever some data is coming from the network and is being received by this device, it is pushed onto the computer with the help of this gateway and displayed on the GUI. So this gateway is having two purposes. Purpose one is to program these devices, and the second thing is to display data which is coming from the network on the GUI, which comes along with the SENSEnuts platform. Now this is the radio module, we have already seen it. Now we have seen that the gateway module that we just looked at was of this type. It may also be available in this variant, so both of them have the same functionality, so we don't need to bother about that. Now since SENSEnuts is all about sensing, so what we do is we sense the temperature, we sense light intensity or other let's say ambient conditions or something else. So we should be talking in terms of sensors. So these things, these four devices here are some sensor modules. Now this SNES, it's written over there, this is your sensor module, which is sensor STL, which is your temperature and light. So it senses temperature and light. Now again, this is a module. So let's say if this is the radio module that you have and you want to gather data, the temperature and light conditions of, let's say, this region, what we can do is we can mount this sensor on top of this radio module like this, and we are good to go. Now this radio module has to be programmed in such a way that it sends some command to this module to send back some light and temperature readings, and which is saved into the memory, which can be used to to take some actions, or the data itself can be forwarded to some other device like this wirelessly, as we have already discussed earlier. Now this was the temperature and light sensor. Now in the previous device that we have seen, this device actually is mounted on top of the radio module. So this is the sensor TL, this is the radio module. Now if you want to again remove this assembly, what we can do is we can remove this screw here. Just going to unmount it. And we can lift it up and take it out. So we have to be very much careful, don't need to worry about it much, but still, and we need to mount it like this. Just place it and press it. So it's done. Okay, now we have other sensor modules as well. So if you happen to have a look at this big device here, so we call it as GAP module. GAP stands for your GPS, accelerometer and PIR. So we have SNGAP written on top of this module, which is SENSEnuts GAP GPS, accelerometer and PIR. Now GPS, as we already know, it can provide you the coordinates of the location where this module will be placed, and your accelerometer is going to give you the acceleration value. Let's say you place it at some place and it vibrates, we can have that reading. And your PIR, which is actually connected on this connector here, we have a PIR sensor which can be connected here. It is passive infrared sensor, so it detects whenever something just crosses it, which is let's say having some heat. So it is going to detect that and it is going to report to the radio module when we connect this module on top of the radio module, just like before. Now we can actually connect it the other way around as well. If you want that, since this module is of some bigger size, and if you want your radio module on top of this module, we can do it that way as well. So it's not a strict rule that your radio module should be at the bottom. It's not like that. It can be either way you prefer it. Okay, now after this we have this module, which is SENSETP. It stands for humidity, temperature and pressure. Now as the name suggests, it is going to measure 3 different parameters. Now first is humidity, second would be your temperature, and third will be your pressure. Pressure is your barometric pressure. So again, it is you can mount it the same way like all other modules, so it's simple as that. And again, any module can be mounted in any direction. There is no hard and fast rule that your one module should be on top of another. It can be either way. Now this module here is again HTP. There is just some small difference that we have one sticker on top of this module. So if the device is like this or this, they are having the same functionality. This sticker is not going to make any change. We even tend to remove it when we start using it, so we just remove it. Okay, now after that we have one device here. Now this we call it as extender. You can see you have SNEX written over the top. Now this extender is a very useful device whenever you want to connect your own sensors. We have seen some of the sensors which are available in SENSEnuts platform. Now let us say that you are conducting your own research and you want to connect your own sensors with our platform. So the thing is that we have the microcontroller here. So what all sensors that will be connecting with the platform should be connected to the microcontroller. We can see there is no place where we can connect anything. If we try to solder something here, we might short the 2 pins and it might, let's say, destroy the device. So what we have done is we have come up with this little device here. We call it as extender. Now again, what we can do is we can mount this thing on top of extender, or the radio module on top of the extender, or the extender can be mounted on top of the radio module. Now what purpose does it solve? We see that we have some of the pins here, these pins. So whenever we connect this extender with the radio module, all the pins that we have on the microcontroller are available to you over these pins. So let's say I want to connect a digital sensor, let's say SPI based sensor or I2C based sensor. So what I can do is I can connect these two devices, these two modules, and the I2C pin or I2C pin, and your SPI pins will be available to me on one of these pins available here. Now how we can then use these pins? Let us suppose you have some jumper wires. The jumper wires would be like these one. So they have some little holes. What we can do is we can connect these jumper wires to these devices, and we can make some breadboard connection, or we can somehow connect your external PCBs to these devices, your custom PCBs, and we can make some breadboard connections by taking these wires, mounting it, connecting it in these wires, and then we can plug it into the breadboard. So that is how we can connect our own sensors, or we can make some breadboard circuit with the help of this extender. Now this extender is also going to help you in some automation kind of technologies. Let's say you want to implement some home automation, you want to automate your air conditioner or your bulbs, electric fans or anything. So they need some external circuitry. Now this radio module is having some digital input outputs. So whenever we try to control an appliance, what we need is we need to turn on and turn off that appliance. Let us suppose that now that appliance will be turned on and turned off with the help of some AC, your alternating current based circuits, right? This microcontroller or this radio device as a whole is actually working on DC. Now they cannot directly control an appliance. So what we have to do is we have to create a small circuit to do so. For that purpose, to control that circuit, we need some DIO, digital input output. So this device here, these pins, we have up to 20 DIOs here. So when we connect these two devices, we have all those DIOs available in this section here. So we can again connect, we can control the devices with the help of these DIOs. We can control some MOSFETs and relays in order to control that appliance. So that is the utility of this extender module. So yeah, they were the devices which are available in SENSEnuts platform. So in this video we have seen the hardware which is available in SENSEnuts platform. In the upcoming video, in the next video, we'll discuss about how we can connect these devices, the hardware, with the laptop or the computer, and then how we can install their drivers, and then how we can start programming them. Meanwhile, these were the devices, the hardware that we have shown you. Whenever we'll keep coming with some new devices, we'll keep creating new videos so that we can show you how we can get started with those devices. Thank you for watching the video. See you.